All right. In my last video, you might have seen when we were finishing up Unity Create with Code Unit 3, Lesson 3.1. You might have seen that I was having problems with the player colliding. The player was I had some problems with these not colliding, boom, like that. So when they collided, she went through. The problem was in my obstacle I had is triggered checked. This would, if I wanted this to make like the person disappear, then I want triggered checked. So kind of like when we were feeding the food to the animal, then we would have a check. Oh my goodness, I told everyone in my house to be quiet except for my dog has a squeaky toy. So I guess we'll just have to put up with the dog's squeaky toy. All right, so in this video, we're going, it's okay, it's real, it's okay, it's all good. A little squeaky toy will be fine. So in this video, we're going to go over Unit 3, Lesson 3.2. And so we're going to see about, so right now, if let me maximize outplay, when I hit play and I have this go, and if I make sure I jump over the obstacles here, one thing that we have a problem with is that the obstacles will spawn, but the world doesn't. So we don't have that. And also too, my person is kind of just jumping in place. So we're going to make it so that the world actually like continues to spawn, as well as we don't have our obstacles like pushing the person off the board, and we don't have this craziness going on with our we'll stop the spawn. All right, so I think it's kind of funny when we watch the game do its funny thing when it stops. Always something kind of crazy. All right, so we're going to start with the repeat backgrounds. The first thing we're going to do is create a script. Hold on. We're going to create a script for repeating the background. So let's go ahead and create our script and create a script for C# script for a repeat background. My dog has crazy noises. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and repeat the background. Now we need to add this to the background object. So this background right here, we're gonna go ahead and drag this and drop this on the background. Click on the background, make sure it got there. Sure enough, it did. Let's go ahead and open up that repeat background here. So what are we gonna do with this now that we have this repeat background attached to our background? The first thing we want to do is make sure that we want to reset the position of the background. So what we want to do on this background, let's go ahead and take a look at it first. So if we look at this background, let's see if we can zoom out on this. So if we look at this background here, you'll see that the background itself kind of repeats itself. So when we, let's go and see if I can kind of move this over. So I kind of see this, oh wow, I kind of doing something weird with this. So if I look at this, you'll see that that it repeats itself, like it's double itself in the view of this. So yeah, when we look at this, it really is itself twice. So in repeating itself, we don't really want to go to the very end of it in the repeat. We just want to go halfway and repeat. If you go to the end, you can get kind of glitchy with it and it might look kind of funny. So we really want to go exactly halfway and repeat itself. And so it looks more smooth, since that's the way that the image works. It looks a lot better that way. So halfway and repeat, that's what we want. So let's take a look at the code. What would that mean? We want to have a position for it to start, to make sure we always know where we want it to start. So let's give it a private vector 3. Vector 3, arrow down, vector 3. And we'll call it start position, start pose for start position. That is going to be, we're going to give that a start position. I think we're going to be giving that information, what that means, in a little bit. And so down in the start, we're going to tell it what that means. So let's go ahead and say what start position means. So start position will equal to our transform position. So this is going to be like transform.position. is what start position is going to be equal to. So we created a variable, and the variable is a vector 3. So remember, vector 3 is an x, y, and z position, and we're saying that we gave it a name of start position. We're then at the beginning of the game, when the game starts, we're going to say our start position is going to be equal to, we attach this to our background. We're going to say whatever the start position is, we want to remember that it is its own position. Okay, that's going to make sense in just a minute, because we're going to say, we want to reuse, basically we're going to tell our game in just a second to go back to your start position. And we just need to remember what that is. So this start position is say, hey, we want to remember that start position is where you started. So transform position is basically the exact start position. Whatever you are at the beginning is your transform position. So start position is equal to its current transform position. Got that? In our update, we are going to say, basically, if you get to a certain point in the game, go back to your start position. That's what we're going to say. So let's start with our if statement. And remember, I like to do my if statements this way. I start my if, and then the parentheses, and then the curly brackets, and then I fill them in. That way I don't miss any curly brackets. I don't miss any parentheses. I go back then into my if, the parentheses of the if, and I say what's going to be my parameters for the if. So what am I going to put in there? So we want to say transform position, transform dot position, and this is going to be on the x. So basically, if my transform position dot x, meaning if I move so far on the x, is going to be, if my position on the x is less than my start position dot x minus, and this we're going to say 50. It's basically 50 pixels. I think we're going to be changing this in a minute. This is just kind of like say, we're going to say, if we go up 50 pixels, then we're going to say, change your transform position back to your start. Transform position. We want that to equal our start again. So basically say, hey, go back to start. I think we're going to make this look a little bit smoother in just a second. So if we get to this certain position on the x, so if our x position is less than our original start position, basically this, if it's less than this, minus 50. So if we move over to the left past 50 pixels, then start over. So let's go ahead and save this and see what happens. And I think it might be a little jerky to start with. I'm going to go ahead and not maximize on play because I kind of want to watch it in both screens. If I hit start, make sure I'm still going to jump so I don't get clogged up here. So you see it kind of jumped back to the start there. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that play. You'll see it kind of jumps back to the start. It kind of jumps back to the start. But it looks kind of jumpy though. So kind of like it kind of does this little stutter thing. So that would be okay. It'd be okay, but it's not quite perfect. So let's go ahead and get rid of that we need to do something other than 50. So we need to kind of say something about like, well, we know we want to go halfway because we know that's where the perfect point is. So how do we say the perfect point of repeat? And so we want to kind of say, well, we know what it is. We know that there is something about this that would be, we need to be able to measure this though to say go halfway. So in order to measure this, we have to add something in here that we can measure, and that would be our box collider. So without a box collider, we really don't have any way of measuring this. So let's hit in our background, let's go ahead and add in a box collider. So B for box collider, add in a box collider. Now what's interesting and what's great about this is it automatically gave the box collider. If you can see this, it automatically gave a box collider let me click on this and click F. So it gave a box collider around the whole thing. So I don't have to worry about changing it. But we now have the size of it. So I don't know if you see the size of it over here. The size of it, it gave us the size. So we know that the size of it now is 112.8, right? So we don't have to put in that number, but we know what it is. So it gave us the box collider, which gave us the size of this. Let me go ahead and focus in on my person. And so we can use that in our program. So we're going to go back to our programming and we're going to start to change this. We're going to go ahead and create a variable to talk about our width. So our width is that x, right? So we're going to talk about our private float, and we're going to talk about repeat width. Repeat and width. So again, this is something we're in which width. Okay, it would help if I spell things correctly. Repeat which. Okay, so private flow repeat width, and then down the start position. So we automatically want to actually see what that means, and we have to get that box collider. We can't just like assume that this code knows what that is. So we have to go get that component. And I think we've gotten components before. So let's go ahead and say repeat REP. Let's find it. Okay, repeat width is going to be equal to, and let's go ahead and get that component. So we're going to get the component out of the game. Get component, and it's third one down. We're going to get that. Oops, didn't give me my curlies or my carrots. Get component, and we're going to get the component of box collider. Box collider is right there. Box collider. And now we're getting this component. Now that we have this component, we need the size of it. So we need the size, and we need the size of the x. So we need the size of x. Got this so far? Now it's all underlined. I'm not quite sure why. Repeat width, box collider, dot size dot x, but we need only half of it. So we're going to divide it by 2, and let's end that line of code and see what's going on. So get component. Why is it underlined? I'm not sure. If I hover over this component dot get, so it's saying component dot get, but let's just see if this is okay. Sometimes you hover over it, it tells you, oh, I know, right here. So after this, I'm supposed to have parentheses. So because it's saying, when you do this, don't forget the parentheses. So when you get something, it's kind of like it's a method that you're using here. So you're using a method here. And yeah, so we got to make sure we do that. So use the parentheses here. I'm not sure. I don't think it actually showed me that in the error, but yeah. So to have the parentheses there. All right, that was the error. I need the parentheses. No more errors there. Now instead of my width here, I'm going to, instead of 50, I'm just gonna say repeat width. Repeat width. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and save this. And I think this is gonna go a lot smoother. So what we did, just to review what we just did, is we add a repeat width here. We created a private float for that. And then we created in the start. So as soon as we start, we went and go and get that component. And then we only need the size of the x, and we divided that by 2. And then in the if statement, we, instead of just saying we're only going to go 50% of the width, or if it's greater than or less than 50% of the width, we're saying if it's minus the repeat width. So that's what we're doing. Let's go ahead and save that, and let's go try this out. So I think this is going to be a lot smoother. I'm just going to go ahead and let the game play. My goodness. Let's see. Oh, it didn't freeze again. So let's go ahead and let it play, and let's watch that background and see if it's less. So I don't see any problems at all. It looks really smooth. Like I don't even see that it's actually like repeat. You can't even tell that it's repeating. It just looks like it's one continuous background. It looks super, super smooth. You can't even tell. I just have my game flowing along. Of course, up here it's really zoomed in, so it looks really annoying. But let's go ahead and see. So that way, if I zoom out, I can you can see that that's repeating. But it looks down here in the game, it looks really, really smooth. So if I maximize on play, let's look at it, what it looks like here. So that looks nice and smooth. And I can't tell that it repeated. I see the church again. I see the bus stop. I see the church and the bus stop. It's running super, super smooth. All right, so that is the making it repeat, repeating the background. And then let's see where we at. there's one more half of this to do. I think I'm going to stop this video now on this one. That is part of 3.2, and that's to make the move. Next, in the next video, we are going to have the game over trigger, which is going to be an important part of this. So we're going to have the game over trigger, and we're going to have it stop moving left when the game over trigger is hit. So right now, we're going to stop this video, and we'll finish up lesson 3.2 in the next video. This will end up being just 2 videos compared to lesson 3.1. That was like 4 or 5 videos. So yeah, we're doing a lot better on this one. See you in the next video.